Okay, welcome everyone to State of the Game for the 20th of October. It's 20th of October today, right?
I think so.
2016. I always get it wrong. Yes, thank you, Peter, for changing to this camera because I don't want people to be distracted by Drew's biceps while we get the information out there that's important. All right, focus. Focus on me for a bit. These guys, we'll get to them in a second. Welcome everyone to State of the Game. Look, I'm not going to be that guy who's like, wait around to the end of the stream for some important news because, well, I could do that, but then you're waiting for half an hour while you try and get what you came here for. What you came here for is a release date for 1.4. That release date is next Tuesday. Yes.
Yes.
25th of October. Finally. 25th of October, okay, guys? 25th of October, all platforms, free for everyone. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be the maintenance time, just so you guys know, will be 9:30 to 12:30. So a 3-hour maintenance, but it's kind of shifted by half an hour from what our usual. But it's on a Tuesday, not a Thursday. So the 25th, not the 27th. It's not coming in November. All right, people can see that. They're not freaking out. Great.
Good.
I don't have the patch size on PC, but just to give you guys an indication, on PS4 it's 11 gigs, and on Xbox One it's looking to be about 5.7 gigs. So I don't know what that means for PC, but we'll find that out, and I'll get that information out to you guys as soon as I can. All right, now we can cut to everyone. And what does that mean for the rest of the stream? Well, I mean, first, if you guys haven't been here before, Drew and Frederick are both senior game designers on the team, and you guys have been heavily involved in the PTS.
Yes.
Yep.
Right?
Indeed.
Yes. How's it feeling to get finally locked down on what we're going to be releasing next Tuesday?
It's a relief, and I'm just glad that people can start playing 1.4 and not be in 1.3, but at the same time, it's just like the start of ongoing work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we'll get to that
absolutely.
in a second, because what I want to do today is kind of talk back on that whole process of the PTS that's new for us. All right. It's already happened. I'm being told not to mention the patch size, but it's already happened. What you going to do? Yeah, okay. That's what happened. All right, we haven't mentioned it for PC, so I mean, all right, we're just going to take a little break here and figure out what to do next.
The patch will have a size.
Yeah.
Sure. Patch will be of a size that you download, and then you will be updated to 1.4. Disregard what I said. I'm not fired. The people who told me that information will be fired. Jonathan. All right. So there are some small changes from the PTS, from week 4 of the PTS to live. Not many. A lot of bug fixing and that sort of thing. Yeah. The biggest one, in my opinion, is the loot in Underground. We were seeing a lot of purple drops and that sort of thing. I know that was kind of a little bit strange. There will now be a higher chance for high ends from those veterans and elites, right?
Yep.
So that obviously caters more towards the hard and challenging modes, rather than the normals. So, but that's cool. And a lot of ballistic shield fixes, which is really, really nice.
Yes.
And just generally functionality fixes like that. But otherwise, PTS4, what they played is pretty much what they're going to see.
Exactly. And this is for the podcast, so you can hear it. That's 21 pages of patch notes. We're not going to go through those today, but you will be able to find these online. I think exclamation patch notes will get you to either these ones or the last ones, but we'll update that command in chat for you. But yeah, I'm not going to do it again. I can read through 21 pages of patch notes. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff we did for this patch.
There's a lot. And this isn't even like, these are the key points that people want to cross. Obviously, we could have made this 100 pages with things like nav mesh fixes, like all these little
stability, performance.
How many bugs did we end up fixing?
Thousands.
Something like thousands, right?
Yeah.
Thousands of bugs.
Exactly.
Which is not something to be, proud that they existed, but we're really proud of the quality that we're putting out and
like
the
I said,
gameplay.
A lot of those range from things that we have talked about to things like moving small things.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's a lot of tweaks.
Annoyances.
There is a lot. Is Yannick chilling with Chuck Norris? Yes.
Yes.
That's why he's not here today. Okay, so for you guys, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is how did this whole PTS process, which is the first time we've done it for the Division, and the first for a Ubisoft game actually, how did that change the way you guys work? That was kind of different to what we've done before.
You want to
Yeah. So, I mean, it's first of all, it was an awesome experience.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have the freedom to, one, like we could just focus on fixing and balancing the game, and then we could immediately, within a week's time, basically,
Yeah.
get the build in the hands of our players, and then immediately see feedback, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking the Division forums, Reddit,
Twitter,
YouTube,
everywhere.
Twitch, Twitter, like all these mediums, right? Like emails even from
Yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely fantastic to get such feedback so quickly, right?
Yeah.
So
And then
it's
be able
almost
to
like in
update it
real
for the
time.
next week. And
Yeah, exactly.
And
then
also the fact that
see the
it-
reactions.
It's a public space, so none of what we're doing for the next patch was secret. So we could have a
Yeah,
dialogue. We could talk
that's
to
very
people.
true.
We could talk to people on the forums and on Twitter and whatever, and just get a real-time dialogue with our players.
I think that was really cool. Like looking back to when we did one of the first streams where we showed like time to kill and time to be killed.
Yeah, right.
And seeing how people reacted to that was really, really cool. And then, well, let's be honest. Like week one, people were, super stoked with, and this is the whole process. This is what it should be. And then week two, there were things that people were less happy with, which is great because it's on a PTS.
Yeah.
So we want those things to happen because I
Yeah.
feel like if you have a PTS and people are just saying this is good all the time, you kind of want to identify what's not good so you don't do that when you release live, right? I'm assuming
right.
I'm not.
And it's going to swing back and forth because you got to test your boundaries. But the changes were smaller and smaller each week, and I think we're pretty happy with what we're putting out for 1.4, for the most part, for like what we could do within this time span.
Yep.
I think,
Exactly.
and you alluded to it just a second ago, that this is an ongoing process. And like, yes, the PTS is something we'd like to do in the future as well for 1.5 and survival and these sorts of things. And I know people have been asking about survival a lot. I'm very, very excited about survival. I've talked about this many, many times.
Me
I am too.
But we aren't talking about survival today.
No.
But now that 1.4 release date and 1.4 is coming out very, very soon, guess what we're going to be talking about next?
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so cool. Did he announce a date? Yes. Okay, so Hexit Grind, if you missed it. And for people who are just tuning in now, it is
Tuesday.
October 25th.
Yep, October 25th.
Tuesday. And there's going to be a maintenance from 9:30 to 12:30 our time. And I'm going to do some quick conversions. That's 3:30 a.m.
yep.
EST.
12:30
Like,
PST.
Yeah, 12:30 PST. Australia and New Zealand, I'm sorry, I have not forgotten about you, my friends, but my brain will not work right now. Someone in chat will do it.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Turn the studio lights on. Yeah, it's kind of dark in here, but sorry. It's kind of
because
romantic,
We're
right?
trying to be.
Because Malma's dark.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
it's true.
like
I mean,
it's
It's true.
depressing
I need-
weather outside.
I need some more lights, but there you go. That's
No, but-
that's what's happening. Yeah, and then chat's going through it. 8:30 GMT. That's good. But yes, that's cool. Japan. I have no idea. There's so many different ones. Frederick, obviously you're working on the weapons side of things. People asking, the M1A, where does it sit now? The SVD, where does it sit now? What's kind of been your thought process behind some of the weapons?
Well, obviously, not maybe obviously. So there's this balance between functionality and raw power that we're trying to reach this time around.
Yeah.
That's sort of why you see something like the SVD. Week one, people were going, why is it so low in damage? And now they're saying, it's probably one of the better marksman rifles because there's a lot of functionality to being really stable, for instance. So we've tried to hit that personality equals power with all of the weapons.
Yeah.
There's going to be adjustments to come. There's going to be things that are best in slot.
Yeah.
And we'll look at that for the next patch.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the thing. Like, people are already trying to predict what this meta is going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people quite know just yet. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
the PTS has kind of highlighted some things.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
metas definitely need time to shift and then consolidate, which is something that the PTS hasn't really had time to show. But it'd be very interesting, and obviously you guys are watching that very closely to see what we can do for 1.5 and that sort of thing. Just so people know, 1.5 and survival, which are going to be next on the horizon after 1.4, it's going to be a similar structure to what happened with Underground. 1.5, that portion of it is free to everyone at the same time. And then survival comes on Xbox and PC first, and then PlayStation afterwards. But that's, 1.5 and survival, remember, those are separate things. But they're kind of tied at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing, but remember what happened on Underground, and that's your kind of roadmap for that sort of thing. Drew, in your opinion, what are some of the best changes? Obviously, the world tier system is kind of, I guess, your baby and people on your team. But what apart from world tiers? Because I'm not going to give you that like oh, the world tiers are the best thing in 1.4. What apart from that, what do you think are some of the best things coming in 1.4?
Well, world tiers, a lot of stuff is involved with
Okay,
that.
okay.
But if
Okay, you can go down that road. And I'll
I feel
stop
like
you
I'm
if
maybe
it's too
cheating
much.
a little bit when
Okay.
I just say time to kill. So, like to me, like my kind of favorite part of 1.4 has really been the time to kill changes, because at 1.3, especially when you started reaching 35 enemies and 34 enemies,
Yeah, it got kind of ridiculous.
yeah, and like Butter, for example, had a YouTube video the other day
Yeah.
of him playing 1.3 and in the Dark Zone.
Saying
It's
I
farewell
know
like,
he was
to
playing
it.
it last night too.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like,
But I
oh
wanna-
man, like such a difference from 1.4. Like we kind of forgot how like spongy,
Yeah.
those.
But I want to remind you also, and this is your personal work, about the just the intelligence and behavior of the elite enemies in the game.
Oh yeah.
There's just a lot of little shooter core skill changes to how they behave that
Yeah,
should
that's
make the
true.
game a lot more fun and maintain challenge while reducing their health.
Yeah, that was definitely fun to do as well. I mean, like being able to try to ratchet up the challenge a bit. Have the enemies flank a bit more, move to cover, stick to cover, kind of suppress some of the we put some like intentionally dumb behaviors in. For example, with the rioters, they kind of wander out. They're like, oh, I don't know how to use
Because they were the
cover."
first guys you encounter in the game, so they should be
because
easier.
they were kind of the early game faction and stuff like that. But.
Nice. You guys are killing the momentum of this update by staggering it for PS4 users, says River Ray 512.
not staggered.
No, it's not staggered.
not.
1.4,
Tuesday.
just to clarify, is coming out for all platforms.
Same
On
time.
Tuesday.
PC,
Yeah.
Xbox One, PS4, at the same time. It costs nothing. You will log in and you will be prompted to download 1.4. And that's it.
And for the people mentioning, and that might not be in the patch notes all the time, but there's so many little things like performance and stutters and stuff that have been addressed as well. It's not just a design change of the game. There's a lot of code work that's gone into it. So I think you'll be pleased.
Yes, I think so. I definitely think so too. Someone actually pointed out for the first time ever the sign behind you which says "Sorry, we're closed." If anyone can, I'll give you guys a few minutes. But I actually put that there strategically. No one knows this because it references one of my favorite talking show segments. I don't know why people have a favorite talking show segment, but I have one.
That's nerdy in a special way.
It's nerdy in a special way. If you can pick the talk show that references, you're a genius. I'll give you a moment, and then I'll spoil it. The biggest surprise for you guys, either from the community or from 1.4. Actually, before we get to that, one of the things that I kind of was thinking while you guys were talking, time to kill is linked to so many things.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, it affected health on kill, like that.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things.
There's a lot of ripple effects.
Exactly. It affected ammo in a big way.
Yes.
It affected how strong the gear set bonuses can be allowed to be.
Totally. I think, and if we're being honest, ammo, we did a thing where we doubled it and then we doubled it in half. But this is what I was alluding to before. Is 1.3 going through week, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we have lowered the ammo in that time frame, but compared to 1.3, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's even more relatively when you compare it to the amount of bullets it takes to
You
kill
don't
an
need
enemy.
as many
exactly.
bullets.
So
exactly.
ammo is much, much bigger. I mean, to the point where I was running Alpha Bridge solo and doing challenging underground.
And not
And
running
using
out.
one ammo type, and I wasn't running out.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's kind of a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wasn't close to running out, so I don't foresee ammo being a problem. I even did the other thing that was what would be the biggest ammo suck solo, the hardest weekly HVT solo
Yeah.
in tier
Using
4.
Alpha Bridge?
Using Alpha
Oh,
Bridge. So,
okay.
and I still didn't run out of ammo. So
Yeah.
I don't think we have really any problems there, but maybe people disagree. Again, these are
but
things
the
to look at
biggest
for the future.
surprise, I think the biggest surprise, I got to be honest, and this is touching the contract, was the amount of engagement, especially in week 2, week 3, around loot and difficulty and all of that. It just showed me how much people still care and how much people were invested in helping us doing this patch.
Yeah.
Just seeing that royal on the internet.
Yeah, the conversation has really changed.
Yeah.
which has been really cool, and not in a way where we've like artificially changed the conversation and like duped you guys. That's the cool part about this. We've done the opposite. We've shown you 100% what's going on, and you guys have been really constructive and involved. And I guess I want to thank everyone for being part of what I'm sure is going to be a really, really cool update coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's really positive. It's I don't know, like the whole tone in the office as well. Everyone's like super psyched for 1.4. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
thank you very much.
where-
3,000 viewers. This is crazy.
It's pretty good.
What? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it does. It was super nice, though. I think in terms, like, it was surprising in some ways, I guess. Like, to me, just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, like how supportive everyone was, like through the PTS process. Because I mean, it was new for us.
Yeah.
Right? And
learned.
it was new to a lot of people as well. And so just having people like just go with the flow and try out new changes, like we swung damage a little bit too far back and then we swung it back up, and just having people like be able to say, yeah, this is a public test server. Things are going to change. I can deal with that.
And people didn't give up and just go, I'll wait for it to be
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
They just like
Yeah.
stuck in there,
that,
play the
that
content.
to me was really surprising. I mean,
Yeah.
that showed
So
like
thank you.
diligence and passion, and like it was really
It's
cool.
I
to
mean,
see.
we did kind of add a lot of server capacity for this because we knew it would be pretty popular,
Yeah.
especially given the state of 1.3.
But the initial plan was for one server shard.
Yeah, exactly.
right,
and then they're like,
right.
oh,
Some
guys,
people will play.
Guys, we need more. Can we get more?
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is, well, for one, it's interesting to me. Weapons guy, what is your favorite weapon? And you can't say MG5.
Well, I am a little bit in the future. I see people requesting all kinds of weapons there in the chat. They're talking about their favorite weapons, and there will be weapons in the future. My current favorite weapon, I run probably a police M4.
You like it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I run that.
Are
I
you
think.
stacking any kind of stability stuff? on
Yeah,
it?
yeah, sure. But I'm also running like some two pieces from gear sets to get my stability and accuracy for
Okay.
that. Yeah, I like the police M4.
I didn't know that's actually my weapon.
There you go.
Modded with stability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
But I think we are both we like the assault rifle category
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we like the shooter,
Yeah.
like the recoil and all of that. We like
Yep.
that challenge.
Yep.
Yeah, I was using an LVOAC yesterday, leveling up.
Obviously great.
But
Yep.
I was playing it leveling up in 1.4, and it felt similar to how it felt in 1.3, and I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Like, it feels powerful, but like you actually have to.
Yeah.
I was like burst firing it, even though it's not a burst fire weapon.
Right.
Like that was cool. Feels really good.
People are offering their suggestions for what they like.
Bow and arrow. Oh man.
Bow and arrow.
That's always been my dream for
Okay, I
survival.
gotta go and
It's
work
not-
on something.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Bow and arrow isn't planned right now.
No.
But this is the thing. We can now move past 1.4 and into the future, and this kind of community involvement is really, really cool. Someone saying M44 best gun in the game. I love the M44. I also like
Yeah.
the covert SRS now.
Yes.
I
Yes,
did not
both
before.
of them.
Yes.
It was
The SRS got
before, but
It got a buff.
a pretty hefty buff. So, I mean, but the thing is, you can make guns that have high one-shot damage if the game doesn't allow for unkillable snipers and unkillable shotgunners. So that's
Yeah.
what we'll be looking out for that, and we'll be looking out at the PvP balance going forward. But
Yeah.
I just feel like you can have those type of builds.
yeah, that's one of the things to mention. While the PvP meta has changed wildly,
Yeah.
not yet because it's PTS, but in the live game it will change wildly. There has been no dedicated PvP pass in 1.4.
Right.
There are a lot of things that affect it, all of the way that gear works now and the way the world tier system works. I mean, okay, world tier system and dark zone tier system, different. Okay, you can't choose your
Yes.
dark zone tier.
Right.
There was some confusion over that because I was like,
Yeah.
world tier 1, but in 205
But
plus.
the
and like,
the buckets are a bit more balanced, right?
Yeah.
Like the,
Yeah.
the brackets themselves.
Exactly.
So-
But I mean, what we really felt like we have to make the base of the game first, because you do bring every RPG stat into the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have to rebalance the core of the game, and then we can, on top of that, look at what the PvP meta is once the game is live. Because you got to remember, people play differently when it's their actual live character than on a test server where there are no consequences.
Oh,
so
definitely.
you need to observe the real PvP meta as people use their live characters, and then adjust accordingly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Someone was asking, and this has been a big thing, obviously, Xbox lag. There's some things to clarify there. There are some client changes that need to come in well, for everyone, but it affects Xbox a lot. I think a lot of people confuse, like, when I'm freezing, like, is it server lag, is it stuff? It's happening in your client. That's why we haven't been able to address it until this client update.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have been a server-side priority, but we can't, unfortunately.
Some things have to happen both on client and server,
At the
even
same
if
time.
the server's involved.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Indeed.
those sorts of performance issues, 1.4 will address those.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
And
A
a
lot
lot
of
of
them,
other
yeah.
performance issues, like you should, on PC and PS4 as well.
Right.
Now on PS4 too.
Yeah. But the Dark Zone, there's a couple places in the Dark Zone that were causing some lag spikes that
Absolutely.
were fixed. And I mean, there's a lot of that stuff.
And,
Damien was saying, like, there's been obviously that we're continuing to work on Snowdrop throughout this whole process. And
Yeah.
I think he had like something, I don't know, an arbitrary number, 60 lights per tile that he could use. And then because some of the things have changed in Snowdrop, he can now be like, oh, I can increase those.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
So,
Super cool.
But that's what happened. We saw that we needed to rebalance the game from a design perspective, but the whole production is involved in this, right? So that means that programmers, people doing performance, QC, everybody have been just working on this patch. Like we put everything else on hold,
Yeah.
which means that all of those other things that aren't as visible in a state of the game have been worked on
Yeah.
too. And those are like the silent heroes up there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All the engineers and everything that have done improvements for this patch
Yeah.
too.
well, the other things, before we head off, I mean, we'll continue to take some questions from chat. But people are also asking, like, add a P90 to the game. Like, obviously, we did say that people did see the secret MG5 happen, which was a complete mistake. Like, that gun never existed, like I said before. Like, it's...
But it sort of confirms that, yeah, there will be new guns at
there's
some
new
point.
guns. Well, if you look at... and this is me speculating. I don't know anything. I have Frederick here, so I'm going to see how far I can push him. But the MG5 was in the E3 build. It was.
Was it?
Yeah. I listened. I was like listening back
Oh,
to the
dear.
podcast. You know how the blind rifle was in that build too.
Yeah.
Right.
The MG5 was also in that build. Because I listened back to the podcast I did with Boomslang and Skill Up, and we talked about that. I don't know if Skill Up has referenced that in any of his videos, but we talked about it. Do you not remember? The MG5 was in there. The M700 was in there. I'm just saying. I don't know what it means.
So, and just to give people an idea, the way it works is a long process to make a gun, and the first thing that happens is that someone makes a model, and we put it into the game to see how it works, and it just is basically a new model version of an old gun, and that might sneak into some builds, but that's the first of a lot of steps to make a functional in-game weapon, and so that's why early versions of things look great and sneak into builds, but they sometimes have a lot of work left on them, and that's what happened with those guns. Like, that's why the MG5 was just broken OP, and the blind rifle was crazy too back then, and that's why you might see some early stuff where you might data mine some stuff. Hi guys. That doesn't mean we're withholding them. That means that we're working on it and we're not spending time scrubbing it away from the build to avoid data miners. We just basically, we're working on stuff constantly.
Yeah.
And obviously people speculating for lots of different guns, P90, AK-12. I'm not a, like...
There's a bunch of people that have said weapons, and they're right. I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
Aha.
I mean, I saw some people say, like, UMP and these sorts of things. Again, you don't have to commit to anything. But the UMP is what, an SMG?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the M700 is a bolt-action sniper? I'm learning things. There you go. Wow. I didn't know all these things about guns. Wow.
Okay, that's my favorite guy. The guy that just says rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher, yeah.
Anytime people bring up,
Railgun.
like, guns and stuff, I just think back to, like, GoldenEye
Yeah.
days, and I'm like, dude, we need remote mines or proxy mines.
Yeah.
Or, like,
You know what we
the
don't
sticky
need,
bomb's
though?
kinda like that.
We don't need the clob. The
No.
clob was the worst.
You hated the club?
the worst.
Was it the one that was just like,
Yeah.
all right.
But on a serious note, the rebalancing means that we have like a pretty good meta in which to insert new content like guns and stuff like that, and new talents, because new talent on a new gun doesn't have to compete with deadly, brutal, fierce.
All right.
Right.
Cool. Yes, and that's one of the things. The other thing we didn't get to do, well, you didn't get to do, I didn't, it's not me, but named weapons, I mean, they have been rescaled, but they haven't been redone.
Yeah, and
Right.
I can say that that's like one of the things that is one of our big regrets, that we never got to do name weapons, exotic weapons, whatever you want to call them, right? But we will we will do
that's
it.
something on your on your list of
Yeah,
to-dos?
it's my
All right,
bucket list for.
Cool.
I can't promise when, but what did happen was some really good threads on our forums and on Reddit about wish lists of what people think those guns should be.
Yeah.
And I can tell
was
you,
good stuff.
I've copied that text. I have it on my desktop. So many of those things were good suggestions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, actually, that kind of leads on to some of the last questions that I had. And again, I would preface this with this is absolutely non-committal, but obviously 1.4 is a limited scope. In game development, you have to limit the scope, otherwise you will never
You can't get
release
it out.
anything, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you would like to look at for the future? Obviously named weapons and those sorts of things. What do you feel like...
I mean, immediately for next patch, I'm going to be looking at gear set and weapon usage and seeing if something is really disliked or really not powerful enough or really annoying or overpowered, and see what we do with those things. So that's like the boring stuff. But just being able to add something into a functional meta, add new guns or gear or whatever into a meta that works is going to be a pleasure.
Without committing either way, what gun would you like to see in the division? I'm pushing you. This is fun.
What gun I'd like to see in the division?
okay.
I don't know. People are calling.
Can you say that?
I don't know, because then that will be a promise.
All right.
Disconnected.
I want to see the pulse rifle from Aliens.
All right.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
yeah.
you can say it because you
well,
don't actually.
You don't make
It's not up to you. All
The
right.
pulse rifle from Aliens,
But-
sure.
Moving forward, though, to
Yeah.
answer your question, another
Yeah.
thing I think that, no commitment, of course, but I would really like to look at is how we need to evaluate kind of what the hardest content in our game, the most difficult content in our game looks like for our most hardcore players.
Yeah.
And see if that matches the experience that they want, right?
Yeah.
I think
Is that
See
a
if there's
challenge,
enough
right?
of it.
Because if there's not,
yeah.
then we need to maybe explore ways moving forward,
Sure.
like of giving those players the toughest challenge that they really want,
But
right?
appropriate rewards as well, right? Because you don't
Yeah,
want to have that
absolutely.
situation where people are like, well, I'm never going to be that hardcore. I can't get this thing. But how do you make people
Yep.
feel elite and hardcore
Exactly.
without,
Yeah.
shutting people
Right.
like myself, like, the mid-tier players, out from getting those
Yep.
those rewards.
Totally,
right?
totally.
So
So it's a big
it's
part of
tricky.
the equation.
But
But the way the game works now, the new philosophy of being able to get everything, but just at different paces, I really think we have a good setup for
Yeah.
doing, really hardcore activities or really casual activities.
Yeah, I think we have a good
Fits
foundation.
in there.
Yeah.
and I also just want hats.
Hats, more
Give-
hats.
Give me like the most amazing pom pom beanie, and for clearing
Yeah.
like
I mean, the
Yeah.
some kind of like super mega heroic incursion.
Yeah.
the inside
I'm
joke.
down. I'll do it all day.
The inside joke is that the hardest thing in the game to get should be a flappy hat with a pom pom.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't know.
And on that bombshell.
Wow. I'm done. Again, not confirmed.
Yeah.
Not confirmed. Raids is something that people are talking about. Pay rise for Drew. I'll sign off on that.
Hey, all right.
All right, cool.
Give it.
Done. Done. You need pumpkins? I mean, that was something that people brought up, can
Yeah.
we do seasonal content?
Yeah,
and
right.
we would love to do those sorts of things,
Yeah.
Halloween stuff, but it's more important right now
Christmas.
that, Christmas.
I think there's enough Christmas.
Yeah. But it'd be really cool. But right now, what we have to focus on is the health of the game in general. We don't want
Absolutely.
to, put all our time into creating pumpkin heads and not fix Xbox stuttering, for example.
Even though those are totally not the same people
No,
doing
no,
that
no,
job.
exactly.
But,
Yeah.
But that's
There's
even
money
cool.
and
Oh, look,
all
there's
of that.
sun. Oh my God, it's sunny in Sweden.
No. That's some reflection of something.
Yeah.
There's something
Yeah,
going on.
and one thing I'd really like, once 1.4 is out, to just have us join a server at some point and have a massive manhunt on us developers in the Dark Zone. I'll be
We'll be
there.
destroyed.
I'll be there on Tuesday. You can just run me down.
I don't
Yeah.
I honestly don't even think we'd reach manhunt level.
No,
we could get
no.
5 kills.
No.
We'll
Yeah,
get like,
yeah.
oh, they've gone rogue.
That's
it.
Yeah.
Right, that should be right.
They've gone rogue and
Yeah.
they did. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Any news on double XP events? So we did try that out in the PTS.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
We will do those things. We don't want to do that, the double XP event right away at the start, because it doesn't make sense, right? Because then it destroys Drew's world tier system.
But people also
He's
have a
worked
lot.
so hard.
People have a lot of adjusting to do. People have a lot of currency
Yeah.
built
Yeah.
up that they can buy caches for, etc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's
Yeah.
going to be stuff to do in adjusting your gear and finding new gear, and doing activities that you like but that didn't used to give you anything.
Yep.
Just go do whatever you like
Yeah.
in the game and it'll give you
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm on that HVT buzz. It's super
Yeah.
cool.
HVT
Yeah.
is fun.
You can just solo it.
I'm
It's awesome.
I'm walking around farming world bosses.
Yeah.
That's me.
Well, you
Yeah.
can do both.
Yeah.
You can like go get some
Yeah.
world bosses,
Sure.
clear some search and destroys, and then do those HVTs because you can get so much good loot from it, and
Yeah.
you can do it all yourself, which is cool. All right, guys, it looks like it's 12 o'clock now, which means that it's time for us to go because we got to now actually get this thing out on Tuesday. So
We
I
do.
think we should probably. People would probably like us to do that. Anyway,
You think?
guys, I think so.
Yeah, sure.
I think so.
So let's do
Maybe.
that.
Again, people, if you've just tuned in and you feel like you've missed something, you can watch the past broadcast, or you can go and find us on SoundCloud later today. I've got to like take the audio and then reformat it for the podcast. Or maybe you're listening to the podcast now and this is like weird Inception thing happening. But that's it for today. All right.
All right.
Get ready for Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Use your weekend to farm currency, in my opinion.
I agree. I think that's the best
Probably.
thing to do.
And
Yep.
performance mods.
Yeah, cap out your Phoenix
Yep.
credits. I'm going to try and cap out target intel on all my characters.
It's a good idea.
There you go.
And all that sort of thing. All right. Any other tips, guys, before we head off?
Performance mods again. Yeah.
Performance mods? All right. All right. See you later, everyone. Take it easy.
See you guys.